All right, guys, what's up? This is Jerry and Jesse on the Play On podcast. This is episode 73. Thank you so much for the last video. Now, if you're watching this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Tell us how much you love Ronaldo because the previous guy loved Mbappe. So we're probably gonna bait you guys again. Um, yeah, there's so many things to talk about, Jesse. We are finally close to the beginning of the season, and it's this week. We don't have to wait any longer.
Yeah, it's ex exciting times. So many. I feel like before we were scraping by, not a lot of stuff to talk about, and now this time I feel like we're overflowing with topics.
Yeah, it seems to like this might be a longer episode. Last episode was pretty short, but you guys loved it nonetheless. Um, but the first thing I wanted to talk about is probably the biggest one is Liverpool. They're losing the Community Shield, Jesse, to Crystal Palace after spending so much in the summer, and it looks like they're not done. Um, would you consider this a failure or we're overreacting?
I feel like it's an overreaction. Uh, it's a community shield. I mean, how many times have we seen? I think Arsenal fans were so happy a couple years ago when they beat Man City to win the community shield, and they were acting like they won the Champions League or the World Cup. Like it's the community shield. Let's relax. It's basically a preseason game. Teams are still getting used to, especially in Liverpool's case, where, like we said, a big summer, so there's a lot of new players coming in. Well, it was both side backs, Etikite, Wirtz coming in. Like it's a lot of, chemistry issues that have to be fixed. Like they're still getting used to playing with each other, and especially a new system since their new players are coming in.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they came out with their best 11 off the rip. I know they did make a couple changes, like Mo Salah. He came off the. Did he come off the bench? No, he didn't.
No, he was basically invisible during the match, though.
Yeah,
He
I was
did
like,
not have a great game.
I thought he came off the bench, to be honest. I was watching the game. I watched it by parts because I was like
Hmm.
going back and forth between my parents' house and here. And yeah, so yeah, it wasn't their best showing. What I do like was Kirkus. He had a pretty solid game, but unfortunately he had to come off due to injury, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. Like you said, this is an overreaction. They're still getting things together. But it's a good sign for Crystal Palace. Sadly, there was also just recently announced their appeal got dismissed and they're gonna be playing Conference League and not Europa League.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think Nottingham Forest were awarded the Europa League spot, right?
yeah, and it looks like it looks like they did. And another, so this is off topic. Lyon maintains their status in League One too. On top of that, so nothing happened. Throw some money at UEFA, and nothing's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to show you this, Jesse. I have the lineup, and I was pretty curious. How close were we to predicting the Liverpool lineup?
Uh,
Who was closer, me or you?
I
Well,
think
we're still missing Isak, right?
yeah, but I think what was it? I Neither of us had uh Gakpo, so we could just conclude that as Etikita, right?
hmm
Uh, Jones and Szoboszlai, I don't think that's a starting pair. I think McAllister and Gravenberch would start there originally in their original 11, so I think we could discount that as well. But I think I was the one that said where it's like in that 10 role, sort of like attacking midfielder role. I think you said have him as like a false nine, right?
Yeah. Well, I have him. I think I had him. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think did have Isak on the left. No, I had Etikite on the left, Isak as striker and Wirtz behind him. But still, I think it doesn't help that, the guy we're trying to predict is in there. But what do you make of the lineup so far? I think Virgil van Dijk had very strong words, kind of blaming this on Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez, the two players that just recently left their club, saying that they needed a proper number nine, and more words or less. But what do you think, Jesse? Would you tweak it? This is like assuming they don't get Isak. This is like the final roster.
Well, like I said, I think their strongest 11 is this, except for, McAllister and Gravenberch instead of Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai.
hmm
But yeah, because I think Gakpo, especially towards last season, we saw that he was really thriving off that left wing role. And with
Yeah.
both Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz gone, I think that's his starting spot for him. And but I think at the Kita really showed his promise there because that first goal, that touch was r really nice, and the goal was so I don't I think he just located really well because he didn't have a lot of power. But yeah, I think that showed off. I think the biggest problem is Salah looks lost in this whole system. It looks like he's still trying to figure his way out because he, like I said, he disappeared the whole match.
Yeah, and maybe it's again more preseason woes or something like that, but it didn't help that he missed the penalty, you know.
Hmm.
So more people are like blowing it up, especially the Salah haters. I don't think Salah's too bad of a dude, but yeah, like you said, it's a preseason game. People are gonna blow it up. I know it means more to Crystal Palace just than Liverpool, because again, it's silverware for them at the end of the day. And I think they're the first Premier League team to win the Community Shield
In the first
um
try.
in the first try, other than Nottingham Forest as well. So since Nottingham Forest, that is. So that's a huge deal for them. And I'm still surprised, dude. Esse is still in that team, and no one has tried to come and hijack him, unless he doesn't want to leave, and they just completely convinced him at the project.
Well,
It's
no,
pretty
I
interesting.
think both Arsenal and Liverpool, or not Liverpool, Spurs are heavily linked to him, and I think Arsenal are the closest to getting him signed. But yeah, I think a couple of players on that team might be gone. Well, Essa especially. Uh, I know Mark Guehi's been put on the market by the board, surprisingly, because I don't know why they're going to put him on the transfer market this late, because of that. And also, I know Adam Wharton's everyone wants him, but he is valued at like around 100 mil, so I don't think he goes.
Yeah, man. It's still like a bunch of moving parts. We'll see what they do with it. I'm trying to find the date because I wanted to see the heat map and see what like words was and like hovering over. It's right here. Lineups. But yeah, like we said, Wirtz is going to be it's going to be growing pains for him. It's going to take a minute for him to start going in that team. Okay. And Salah, yeah, SofaScore
We,
has a lower rating. So his heat map, it looks like he's a bit everywhere, which I like to see. More hovering on the left than the right, which is surprising.
I guess it shows that he felt more connection towards that left-hand side, and or he just showed that Salah was ineffective that day and decided to go with the side that was showing more promise, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, like I said, it's very interesting. But yeah, there is like right here, and then he was stuck in the right wing for a good bit. Can we compare to Salah? Salah was just straight up stuck
He
on the
was
right.
just, yeah, he was just there, which is surprising because even though he's like a right winger, quote unquote, he mostly goes into the center for like, those goal scoring opportunities. And for
Hmm.
him to be outside that much, I guess it's a new system or he just wasn't feeling it that day.
Yeah, if I were Arnie Slot, I would just let these two roam wherever they want. Like, all right, Wirtz wants to go like this match perfectly. Like clearly Salah wasn't doing anything on the right side. Let him drift inside and tell Wirtz to go on the right. And it doesn't look like that was ever a thing. Because
Hmm.
like again, the biggest blotch of the heat map was on the right side and very little on the middle compared to Wirtz. So I think at one point they were like bumping into each other. So it's pretty interesting. And yeah, Salah got 26 touches, Wirtz got 74, which is what you want to see when it comes to your cam. You just want to see him all over the ball.
Hmm.
Uh, Let's see what they could do with that remaining money. But they did try to place a new bid for Isak. It looks like it might be hitting the 125 to 150 million range. We might see them break their own transfer record, Jesse.
Yeah, and I think that's what Newcastle has mentioned that that's the only way they're willing to let him go, especially now with Sesko being confirmed by Man U and going over there. They don't have a like for like replacement for him anymore. I know they're linked to Nicholas Jackson, which that's crazy. And Chelsea's asking for 70 mil for him, which is even crazier.
Yeah, at this point, you got to think Newcastle's not going to try to haggle with the price at this point.
Hmm.
Just because, again, you're saying everyone's rejecting him. No one's been going to Newcastle, even though everyone's been linked to him, and they have talks with players about going over there, but they just can't seem to get the final yes. Uh, if they do go for Nicholas Jackson, I just see him straight up paying out what they're asking for.
And I think that's just the problem with the problem that they're in right now because it's so late in the transfer market. All the viable options that we were mentioning earlier in the summer, they've all settled down, and there's like no other option. So they're stuck paying overpaying for Nicholas Jackson just to get a replacement for Isak, and I think that's gonna suck for them because just getting a last minute replacement and overpaying for it just because there's nothing else in the market.
But again, we never know what could have happened because I think even SB has said it, the huge Chelsea fan, that Nicholas Jackson does everything right, but score the
But
goals.
but score the goals, and that's what you want from your striker, especially when you're outlaying 70 mil when that's what Arsenal paid for Gyökeres, what uh all these other teams are paying for these top strikers. That's what he's going to be compared to at the end of the day because
Hmm.
they're at a similar price point.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we got to see what happens with that. There's just so many possibilities, and Newcastle seems to be in the wrong end of things. Again, just panic buying to get a replacement as soon as they can. But there's a lot of transfers happening right now. Like, there was no movement for Rodrigo for a couple of weeks. We thought that he was going to stay at Real Madrid for a minute, but there seems to be huge interest from Man City to buy Rodrigo now.
Well, yeah, because Spurs have been recently linked to Savinho, and I think he's been, sort of moved out because there's Ryan Cherki, Phil Foden that can all play on that side. And so now they've come back to Rodrigo, which Real Madrid has stated they want 100 million for him. And so if they sell Savinho, they'll go for Rodrigo. Uh, yeah, it's a big move for them. I think it would be a great move for both sides because they both get what they want. I don't know about Real Madrid, who they would get for as a replacement, especially at the current market. I think they might just keep the money and then wait for, next transfer window.
Yeah, it'll be in the best interest. You don't want to be in a Newcastle situation where you just, again, they're gonna people, teams are gonna know that you have 100 mil. You just sold the player for 100 mil.
Hmm.
They're gonna want to make you pay a huge hefty price for whatever player you're trying to go for. So unless it's like a center back, because I think the one everyone's been like linked to at the moment is the Sevilla center back, Bade, the French center back.
Hmm.
Right now, he's linked to, I want to say a German team. I don't know if it's a German team, a French team. I don't know what team, but they Sevilla put a price tag of 25 million, which is a huge bargain. They could do that. But as far as like them trying to get another attacker, I don't think that's a great idea right now. We're just seeing that Nicolas Jackson might go for 60, so probably gonna have to pay something around that price point to even touch anyone or get in a conversation with anyone. But yeah, it'll be a great deal for Rodrigo to go to Man City. Like like we beat me and you both are huge fans of him. He like just straight up does exactly what Guardiola wants, which is constantly attack the goal.
Yeah, and plus, I feel like he still wouldn't have to have the whole burden of, carrying that team to like the next level because it's already a good team, and he'll finally get to play on that preferred left wing role because the only other person there is Doku, and I don't think Doku compares to Rodrigo.
Mm-mm.
So I think, especially because he could just do, like you said, anything that Guardiola wants because he has the most technical ability in the Real Madrid team, and I think he'll still have that in the Man City squad.
Yeah, definitely. On the other hand, Savinho, it's pretty sad that he's leaving Man City after only one season. I could just remember his pretty much
Girona days.
Girona days where he was super dangerous. Goes to Man City, and I thought he had a pretty good campaign for his first season. It's pretty tough playing in a Guardiola system and getting all those instructions. I think he did pretty well, but sadly, that right side is just super
Crowded.
crowded, saturated, whatever you want to call it. And he has to leave, and I think Spurs is probably the best move for him.
Really? Because they just signed Kudus as well, and they both play on that right side, and they still have Kulusevski.
But
Well,
like,
I think,
yeah, I was gonna say, me and you said that Kulusevski will play more as a cam since Madison got
man,
injured.
man, yeah, but there's still like he's gonna be him and Kudus are basically gonna be on that right wing role.
Yeah, we'll see. I think if it is a battle between that right wing, I think it's easily Savinho could take it over. Kudus he's had moments of sparks, I guess, whatever you would call it. But I think Savinho is just a better player overall, and he's younger too.
Yeah, I just think they're overloading that forward line when like we mentioned before, I still think they have problems elsewhere. And it doesn't make sense because even if you put Kudus on the left wing, they did sign in the summer Matthias Tel from Bayern Munich. So is he just gonna be in the backup role for that left wing and striker spot? And they still have Richarlison. I don't know if he's still there, right? Because
Yeah,
they
he's
didn't
still
have
there.
Aaron.
He's
So
getting paid every week, dude. He's not leaving.
yeah, and then they still have o Odobert, who I think is a solid talent because he had promise, but he had injury problems last year. So I think it's just getting overcrowded that forward line.
Yeah. But again, you're presented with Savinho, Man City's trying to get rid of him. You're gonna take that offer.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm surprised Chelsea didn't try to go for him. If they would have put it out there, another winger on the market, they would have gone.
Well, they're still being linked to Xavi Simons, and they're
Mhm.
still trying to work out a deal. I know there have been recent talks with Leipzig for like a swap deal for I think Nkunku and a couple other players, but I know also Man City have stepped in and said they are also interested in Xavi Simons. So I wonder how that
Yeah,
plays out.
I was gonna tell you, like, yeah, I think Man City's trying to like hijack that deal as well. So it'll be interesting though. Like, I think they're gonna be in another dilemma. If they get Xavi Simons, do they get Rodrigo?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you get either or because if you get both, again, it's like we said,
Mhm.
another overcrowded line.
Yeah. Again, maybe teams are just stacking for the long, grueling season and they realize they need more depth and not have to use the full 23-man squad. But I don't know, dude. It's another tough situation. I have a feeling they might get both. I don't know why.
But I think it's even crazier for players to willingly go into an overcrowded situation with, like we've mentioned previously, the World Cup coming up. It's a World Cup campaign, so you want to get your minutes, you want to get exposure, you want to be called up for your national team because you want to play in the biggest tournament there is, the World Cup. And especially now with like uh knowing that, uh national teams are very picky with like certain players now.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of Ter Stegen being one of them, I think Julian Nagelsmann came out and said like if Ter Stegen wants to be starting at the World Cup, it's gonna be difficult if you don't play for your first team. And he was also kind of pushing him for a move, but it turns out Ter Stegen's staying, Jesse. He ended up signing those medical papers and addressing the fans kind of, and also remaining as a first team captain. But yeah, like you said, if you want to play in the World Cup, you got to play first team football, and it's difficult if you're not. So a lot of these players are taking that risk, especially any player in Chelsea. Like if you're not Cole Palmer, you're not starting. Your position's not even guaranteed, you know?
Yeah. And luckily for Chelsea, with that overcrowded situation, Levi Cole recently came out or recently in training got an ACL injury. So, tough break for him, especially with, like we said, World Cup campaign. So it's a tough chance for him to qualify for the English national team. With him, getting that injury, he might not get called up. But luckily for them, they have bodies to throw at that spot.
Well, I think the weakest spot they still have is center back. I I think that
Well,
might hurt them at the end of the day.
well, good center backs. They have center backs aplenty. They just don't have good ones, Jerry.
True.
The good thing about because the recent signing Joro Hato, even though he plays left back, he can play center back. So I would just put him there because I wouldn't trust any other center back they have.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what happens with them. It sucks, dude. Already the first ACL injury. I know there's more in American football too. There's been a couple for leg breaks and
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, it's that time of the season. And again, I think probably one of the last few things about transfer rumors, biggest one is another goalkeeper in the market, Jesse. No one seems to be wanting to keep their goalkeepers.
Oh, yeah. Donnarumma has decided that he wants to leave PSG or he's been excluded out because I know PSG have basically excluded him out of the squad. They've already signed his replacement, Luc Chevalier from Lille. They
Hmm.
paid him, they bought him already, and I think he's been confirmed like to be the number one. And they've made Donnarumma available for like 26 million to 30 million, which is a bargain because he's still, I think, only 26. And we've seen his quality in like two different seasons where he's shown that he could compete against the best. That Euro 2020 and this past season in the Champions League campaign, he proved clutch in the situations.
Yeah, it's crazy too because he's expressed his interest to stay. I wonder what his demands are. Maybe PSG are just like, well, we're getting a French keeper and we want to stay French, so that's why they went and got Chevalier. And again, it might be cheaper to keep him because his wages might be lower. So it's pretty interesting because again, he's expressed it so many times how he wants to stay. Um, we'll see where he goes. I think Manchester United is linked to him, but who knows if he wants to go to a Man U situation. Um, where do you think he would be a right fit?
Well,
Like it's tough because a lot of the squads are kind of settling down right now. So getting a player this late is going to be an interesting thing.
I would say, Man U if they could, but they still have Onana, and I think they have to sell to be able to bring him in. I think the relationship with the fans is broken. Um, Maybe Bayern, because I still don't see Bayern with a replacement. I know they have Nuvo and they've loaned him out, but just getting someone proven to replace Neuer, because he's 40 years old. He's he's still okay, but he's not the one we know, the great Neuer that we've seen in the past. So maybe that, but besides that, I don't see anyone else really.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, especially with I was gonna say Tottenham, but they just bought one last season to be kind of a replacement for Vicario, and Vicario is a good goalkeeper in himself. Maybe he goes back to Milan, dude. Well, not even that because they just recently re-signed Magnan, who was also linked to move.
Maybe Inter, because Jan Sommer is no spring chicken. I think he's like 34, 35.
But who wants to touch Inter with a 10-foot pole right now, Jesse? With their whole situation going on.
Well, in the situation that he's in, where he's not going to be playing any minutes, I think he's going to want to go somewhere to get some playing time.
Who's the goalkeeper for Napoli? I think Napoli will be a good situation. And they kind of reinforce the squad pretty well. But it's just a lot of it sucks that it's so late in the market for him. I don't know if he decided that because again he expressed his desire to stay,
Uh,
but it just sucks for
Milenko,
the player.
Milenko with Savic or Alex Meret?
So that'll be a good situation if they again like they could afford him. But I'm pretty sure PSG would be willing to sell since they already got a keeper in himself. So it wouldn't be a bad thing, to go into Napoli, especially in the situation they're in. They could pretty much win a couple Scudettos in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, what a time.
Well, speaking of someone else, Jack Grealish, we forgot to mention that he went to Everton on loan, but with the option to buy at the end of the season. Crazy, a transfer failure in my books for Man City.
Yeah, they only got one good season out of him. Which was the Champions League winners campaign. And then after that, he kind of been plagued by injuries, too much drinking, whatever you want to call it. But it looked like he was kind of done with football in a sense. Or again, it might be just a really bad string of injuries.
Hmm.
So which sucks. But yeah, Everton's getting a deal on that because what'd you say the transfer fee was 12 million,
It
and
could
then
rise up to 12 million, yeah.
an option to buy for 50 after the end of the season.
Yeah.
So again, if he's plagued by injuries, they get saved. They don't have to pay anything else. But if he does for some reason a really great campaign, they could buy him for 50. And
Yeah.
they could afford him, It's Everton. They play in the Premier League. They could get 19th place and get relegated somehow. No,
Yeah.
what is it? What's the relegation that saves
Uh,
you? 17th.
17th, 17th.
They get 17th, they still get 200 million.
Well, yeah, and especially I think it makes sense because they're I think this season they opened up their new stadium. So to, be able to bring in the crowd, star signing, even though he hasn't been a star. But yeah, English talent, bring in the crowd.
Hey, and it's what it is. It's all to sell seats in that stadium. And yeah, this weekend we have the first
Oh,
trophy up for grabs.
wait, you forgot to mention the good news for Barcelona.
What about it?
They got a spot available with Inigo Martinez going to Al Nassr. Now Barca can register a player.
Yeah. That one's bittersweet, dude. Inigo Martinez has went to which club? Not
Al
Al
Al Nassr,
Nassr.
Al Nassr.
Was it Ronaldo's club?
Yeah.
So yeah, he went to Ronaldo's club on a free because there was a stipulation, and if Saudi club ever comes for him, he's gonna go. He got an offer, he took it, and he freed up I think 14 million in salary space. So
Hmm.
we were pretty much able to register every single player. We still have a potentially one spot up for grabs, so you could probably get another player if you wanted to. But yeah, sadly, our well, I would say that probably the comeback player of the season last year, which was Inigo Martinez, is leaving. Sad, bro.
Not the center back you wanted to go, but
Yeah. Especially, I wish we could have gotten some cash out of it, but it is what it is. We freed up a lot of space, but still sad. Especially, I think, but even then, just that one season, showed a lot to Cubarsí and how to become a leader. Because again, Inigo Martinez at one point was the hottest talent coming out of Spain. A lot of people probably don't believe me because again, they weren't watching football around the 2010s. But yeah, he was like linked to Real Madrid, Barcelona, but he ended up staying in Sociedad for a very long time until he finally made the switch to his rival club, which is
yeah, he went to
insane.
Bilbao. Yeah.
And then again, he became a leader there.
Yeah, he was I really liked him. I remember talking to you about him when he was in Sociedad. He was a good center back. I would have liked him to come to Madrid, and then he stabbed me in the back like, a lot of players seem to do apparently, and he went to Barcelona.
So yeah, it sucks. I know you're happy, dude. That offside trap was killer last season. They
Yeah, but
they they kind of they did pretty well in they played the John Kemper this Sunday, and they did pretty well doing the offside trap. I think that was like six offsides they got. But sorry, you were gonna say something?
I forgot, dude. I lost my train of thought.
Oh man, it stinks. It stinks, you know. But he also said the reason he left is because he doesn't feel like he could compete for a full season at that level.
Well, I can see that especially because he is turning 35 this year. He doesn't have like those legs anymore, and especially because he's been playing for what 14 years professionally now, because he started pretty young with Sociedad, and he's been continuing with Bilbao, and he's not had like major injuries that I can remember.
No,
So he
yeah, at one point when he was at Sociedad, he got a really bad knee injury, and it was lingering. And then Barcelona, when they signed him for free, it was weird. People were asking, how did he pass the medical if he still had knee injuries? Because that first
Mhm.
season he with Barcelona, he wasn't really playing too much because of his knee injury.
I don't remember that. Maybe it's someone else, but yeah. But I could see it, sometimes at that age, the body just breaks down and he couldn't do at the same level, especially after last year where I feel like it was one of the highest points we've seen him. It was like all that promise that we saw when in his Sociedad days, in his younger days, finally came to fruition. And I guess he just had magic for that one season.
Yeah, dude. I think we still could have used him sporadically, but hey, he freed up spots for us. We're pretty much guaranteed to register every single player we sign. So sucks. Again, it's a sting, but you enjoy your time. He brought us titles and developed our young center back, who's still 18, by the way. I think he's about to be turned 19, but gain a lot of information.
Yeah, more than you could say from what was supposed to be the leader in Ronald Araujo, the vice captain.
Who knows? Maybe he got something off the bench because, like I said, he did pretty well in the offside trap this past weekend against Como.
So you're okay with keeping him? I thought you wanted him gone.
I did want him gone at the time when we got offered 80 million. Now for 30 million, we might as well keep him and raise his stock price. But no, again, Araujo has great things, but he also has flaws, and hopefully those flaws have been diminishing slowly, and we're not seeing the same mistakes as we used to see.
Well, I think we shouldn't because he's no longer,
Yeah, he's
a,
not 21 or anything.
yeah, we can't pull the Marcus Rashford,
Hey, dude, we got the youngest player in the Premier League now.
the Premier League winner, dude. I think he's still up for it.
Dude, did you see his miss?
Yeah.
Hey man, it's all good. It happens. I was cocky too. I would have missed, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's basically preseason. I think now is the time to make mistakes. And I think if your player's not willing to take those risks or, go for it or like make those ma mistakes now, it's not going to help him throughout the season because, from that mistake he can learn from it.
Yeah, and definitely I think that's one of the great things about preseason. It's like, oh, okay, I made this mistake last time, and then if you're in a situation again, like in an actual official match, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna take a sweet. I'm not gonna take it for guarantee. I'm definitely gonna score this chance. So it reinforces your mind that don't relax at any time. Because yeah, it looked like he relaxed.
Hmm.
He kind of just wanted to push the ball in like nothing. But like, no, you should straight up just finish it and clobber it at that back of the net.
Yeah. Also from that uh what was it, Juan Camper Trophy
Hmm.
with Como. I just want to call out Spurs. I want you to stay away from my player. I don't want you to look at him. I want you to, they submitted a bid for Nico Paz for I think 60 mil. I need you to turn back around and go back to England because you're not getting him. He's coming back to Real Madrid next season. So I need you to relax, okay? I can't say what I want to say, but stop looking at my player.
It's interesting why they want again another attacker. They should reinforce the defense. They saw what happened last year when they lost Romero and just like what was it, Van de Ven as well. So they're looking at the wrong side. Go buy a center back, you know?
They did. They bought two young center backs and they expect them to work out two 18-year-olds to fix a problem.
Oh, bro, that's not it. Like, especially in the Premier League where you just narrowly one of the worst seasons ever. If it wasn't for the Europa League season, yeah, it would have been horrible for Tottenham, but they kind of got saved. I think there's more expectations now that you became a champion, especially a European champion. So
Yeah, because I think
it's
that
gonna be
because
rough.
they got Danzo, who they got on loan in January. They confirmed the signing, and he's a solid backup option. And then Dragonson's supposed to come back mid-season because he's coming back from an ACL injury. But then besides those options, like I said, you got those two 18-year-olds.
Oh, and by the way, here's because we're gonna do the preview coming up in a bit, for the UEFA Super Cup.
Hmm.
Tottenham already has a huge list of injuries,
Injuries.
and Kulusevski, who we mentioned that it's gonna be playing that cam role, doesn't look like it. He's injured until mid-September, so I can see why now they're going for Nico Pass. But yeah,
N-
look, let me see one,
No,
two,
I
three.
don't care if they have injuries or whatever. They're not touching my boy.
They have seven injuries. It's Brian Hill, Kulusevski, Udogi, Solanke, James Madison, Manor Solomon and Dragusin, but it looks like Solanke is like on a brink of coming back. Same thing with Dogi.
Hmm.
They're doubtful for the Super Cup match, but oh my God, Spurs can't get injured and they got to probably change doctors. That's what was happening in Barcelona. Don't you remember?
Yeah, and same with us. We recently came in with Xabi Alonso. He brought in his own doctor, his own medical staff, and we're bringing more. And we got rid of our old medical staff.
Yeah, you have to upgrade.
Yeah, because when was it when Xabi came in, right? He replaced the whole medical staff because back then you were having just trouble with injuries.
Yeah, that was the first season where Dembele wasn't injured for every 3 months.
You say
So,
3 months, it felt like more.
dude, because yeah, it was just so bad, and people were blaming him, but now it was like the doctors that weren't properly giving him the proper workouts to avoid those injuries. Same thing with Pedri. He had that played well again. He played 80 games when he was like 18 years old.
Yeah, remember that Olympics photo where he just looked like a zombie?
Yeah. So now we have doctors that definitely do measure that and give our players rest and the proper workouts. And now, Jesse, we have the UEFA Super Cup. Again, somewhat of a friendly. I wouldn't say so. It's kind of a competitive. It's been competitive for the past couple of years.
Well,
Um,
well, it
PSG
was
versus
competitive back in the day when, Sevilla was relevant. Because
yeah,
remember those matches, because they would always win the Europa League. Like, especially remember that one match against Barca? What was it, like 2017, 2018?
yeah, it was
Like,
like three free kicks in one game match.
it was crazy. That game was crazy.
The one
Nowadays,
The one I think of for the Super Cup is the Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid. The Valverde red card, and then there's also the Diego Costa like when Atletico Madrid went 3-1 and they just he dominated the match. But I don't think this is gonna be one of those iconic matches. It might be iconic in the sense that I think PSG is gonna thrash Tottenham badly. But yeah, they play this Wednesday. first competition of the season, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you could say this the
For European competition at least,
well, I guess there's qualifications for like the lower level teams like to qualify to get a spot into the like Europa League, Champions League and things like that. But I guess you could kind of count this as like the official start for the season. Some people might say the Community Shield, but it's all the same really.
English fans. But yeah, I don't expect much from Tottenham. They're going through an injury crisis. We talked about it a couple of minutes ago. And it's
They're,
not even the start of the season, bro. It's like,
and also they're also getting used to a new system because Thomas Frank is coming in and he's implementing his ideas. And it's not just an injury crisis because they also have new signings they have to fit in. Like we mentioned, Kudus. If they get the Savinho deal done before that, they might try to squeeze him in. Like it's a lot of things that are going on.
yeah, so if you want to predict your score, Jesse, now's the time.
I think like a 4-0, maybe more, honestly.
I think PSG is scoring 7 goals. I'm not even kidding. I think they have they have Cuti Romero in the back line, right? I think he's gonna get overwhelmed, pissed. There's probably gonna be a penalty or two. He's gonna get a red card, in my opinion. And yeah, it's not gonna be a great night for Tottenham, It's not a great way to start the season.
Well, I don't think it's just him because I also think Palhinha is also might be liable to get a red card because he's gonna be alone in that midfielder and then Vitinha, João Pedro, and Fabian Ruiz might just be playing around with him, and he might just, decide to make a reckless tackle just because he got fed up with it.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I'll be so mad if it's the opposite what happens, Just like it's a super competitive match, nothing's going crazy. But yeah, for sure, I'm watching it. I'm not gonna go over it, but I
Yeah,
wonder where they're gonna show it because again, I have something else, but that's a different topic. What you were saying?
I wouldn't be mad if Spurs proves me wrong and wins that game because you know what? More ammunition to throw at Arsenal fans.
For real. It'll be interesting, definitely. Especially, I think PSG's again our favorites for the Champions League. It'll be a huge confidence booster again for Tottenham and knowing they're going to the right direction, but we don't know. We don't know.
Let me just check
What do you check?
where it's gonna be on. Tulane, CBS, VIX, Paramount Plus, where you
It's
can watch
still
it.
gonna be on VIX. I don't know. I've been hearing that supposedly it's gonna be on the Zone for Spanish because I watch Champions League in Spanish. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna get CBS now, just so I could have that and have the Serie A, so I wouldn't mind it.
Hmm.
I used to have it last season, but I canceled it. But no, I think I just might invest in CBS. Plus, they just
Hmm.
announced a deal for the UFC as well.
Yeah, big deal.
Oh,
7.7 billion, right?
yeah, no more pay-per-views.
Good.
So it's not a bad deal. So might have to cancel another subscription though, but it is what it is. Jesse. So with the Premier League and La Liga just starting, we are gonna do our top five predictions for each of those leagues. Next week we'll do the predictions for Bundesliga and Serie A. But for now, we're just doing these two.
We're not
Jesse,
we're not doing League On because we already know what's happening there.
yeah, there's no point. Jesse, we'll start off with Premier League because we'll save the best for last. Who's your number five spot?
I have Manu.
It's funny enough, I have Man U as well.
Some people might say we've been talking trash about them all summer, but you know what? At the end of the day, they've gotten some. I think offensively, they can be really good. Sesko, like we said, we both like Sesko a lot. I think he is physically a problem for opposing defenders. And Buemo and Cunha on the sideline. Not that they don't have to be a striker, out and out striker, because they have him. I think they become very good options to feed into him and also goal scoring threats. Bruno Fernandes stepping in the line behind, playing that midfield too. I think it gives him more chance for more assists, and then for that late run to get those goals. But that work rate is going to come into effect. I think they're also linked to getting a CDM from Brighton, who looked good last year. Who knows if they signed him? He is. There are quoting for like 100 mil to get him, but they do need that midfield help. My whole prediction is basically on just that offense because I think that uh excuse me. Sesko and Buemo, Cunha and Bruno Fernandes, they're going to give you a lot of goals and a lot of offensive opportunity. Not to mention Amad Diallo on the right wing. And then I think Lenny Yoro, he is still a good player. And then yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, there's not much to say. I think Shesko kind of rounded everything out for me. They needed a true striker. Again, I was very judgmental, not judgmental, but yeah, I was criticizing Chesko that he has yet to score 20 league goals. But going into Manchester United, this is a probably the best situation for him. If he went to a bigger team that's going in Champions League football, there would have been more pressure on him. I think Man U, again, struggling, but they're trying to go to the right direction. When he gets a whole preseason like setup and everything, gets an actual team, the team that he wants and players he wants, it's a good situation for him, and I think they're going to do fairly well. Not the saying that there's going to be bumps on the road. There probably is, especially facing like the top five teams, top four teams we're going to mention. But I think they're slowly going into the right direction. Again, finally buying a true striker worth that price tag is what they needed. Xerxes was in it. Hoytson was in it. Shasko, he has the potential to be that striker.
Yeah.
Number four,
I've got Arsenal.
I've got Chelsea.
Mm. See, I went with Arsenal because even though they finally have solved the striker problem with Gyökeres, what we've been calling for years now, I still find Arteta as a coach to be lacking. It's crazy because Crystal Palace had reproduced Mikel Arteta's 6-year run in Arsenal in 1 year with the amount of trophies they have.
Very
And
true. No,
also
he has one more. The computer. Oh no, the community shield. They also won it. Yeah, honestly.
because I still Martinelli, I think he is not it. I think they need to replace him. That left wing spot is vulnerable. Havertz, we know what he is. He's going to be a backup coming in. I don't see him, proving to be useful. Gabriel Jesus, they wanted to get rid of him. I still think they lack a creativity problem in that midfield, especially because now they can be relying on Subamendi and uh Odegaard to, fill that role. But Subamendi's a CDM and, Rice is a CDM as well. So they're still playing with two CDMs and relying on Odegaard to create everything offensively. I think there can be over relying on pieces still. And yeah, I think they're just gonna be the same old Arsenal where they're defensively sound, but not a lot of creativity in the squad that was, what Arteta was being praised for previously.
Yeah, I'm in a similar thing, but again, they addressed the striker, but the one thing they haven't addressed is depth. They lost a lot of players. They got a couple of players, but not everyone has a true replacement. Like Saliba goes down, Gabriel goes down. Who's your backup center backs? Ben White, Timber. That's it. Those are already your right backs. So,
Calafiori, I think maybe.
so yeah,
He,
there's Calafiori too, but like again, Calafiori wasn't any good last season, in my opinion. I think he was pretty okay, but again, it's his first season. I guess you could throw that in there.
he was also
But
playing out of position at left back.
left back, but that's not going to change, in my opinion. I think he still might play left back. Who knows how Skelly does in the second season? Again, there's more film on him. They're going to find a ways to expose him. Um, but yeah, I think Arsenal still doesn't have enough depth, and that's why I have Chelsea in fourth. Oh, no, you had Arsenal, right?
I had
But
Arsenal.
so Chelsea's my third. I mean,
Chelsea.
Arsenal is my third, and that's why I think they're gonna be third. My bad. I kind of digress. I might as well mention it since I kind of was shitting on them. But yeah, Chelsea is my fourth. Young center backs, similar situation to Chelsea. They don't have depth in that position. A lot of young center backs. What are you gonna do? You already lost one of them and one of your better ones. So I don't know. And then the goalkeeper situation, like Robert Sanchez did have a great match against who was it? PSG. Is he gonna do that all season? Can he replicate that? Who knows? So there's question marks. But yeah, I just told you my third, which is Arsenal. Who's your third?
I have Liverpool.
Okay. Why?
Uh, like we said previously, I still think even though they've improved talent wise, sometimes, Uh, I think last year the reason they were so good is because they had chemistry together, the players, because they had been there for together for a minute. They had cohesion and they were a team. they bring in players and they're overall talent-wise better, but I think they took a step back team-wise with chemistry, and I think that's going to take some time to build together. Meanwhile, other teams have, have had that time and are like, especially these top teams are going to be able to improve. And I think now last year I think it was a mixture of Arne Slot's style with Klopp style, and now I think it's fully becoming into Slot style. So I think this is where there's a transition, and I think the players, begin to differentiate, and I think also windows begin to close, like we saw with Salah, with Van Dijk. I think their windows start to close, and a new guard's required. And then also, I think the biggest problem I see with Liverpool is their center back situation. The only two senior center backs that they had in the squad for this Community Shield was Van Dijk and Konate. And Konate, as you previously mentioned, he has injury problems. So who's going to be the backup center back?
That's when they call in Andy Robertson, Jesse. No, yeah. It's funny enough because Liverpool is my second. I share a little bit of sentiment, like what you just kind of said. I'm piggyback off what you said. Center backs might be an issue, especially with an aging Van Dijk. So if he does get an injury, it might be a long-term one. But I think Arne Slot is has some room to work with because say like the new lineup isn't working. He added too many players. Like because in my opinion, Frimpong is just plug and play. We showed that this past weekend. Same thing with Chris, but we gotta see how long he's out for. But my thing is that him trying to figure out the attack, especially with Gakpo, seeing what he does. Because I think again, I can't reiterate this enough, but he had a great season last season. I don't know why they're trying to replace him. You could literally build off of that. But yeah, I think for Arne Slot, he's just trying to figure out how Wirtz is gonna fit. Clearly, he wasn't super effective this past weekend, and they might have to try to unlock a little bit more. Maybe build that chemistry with Salah. We gotta see, but I think he might get benched. And towards the end of the season, I think he'll find a solution for him and Salah playing together. But I think it won't be enough to try to be a Premier League champion.
So right now you have Liverpool second,
Arsenal
Arsenal
third,
third, Chelsea fourth.
Man
I
U
have
fifth.
Yeah, and I have Man U fifth, Arsenal fourth, Liverpool third, and then I have Chelsea second.
Hmm.
The reason I say that is just because,
Think about it. This is a team last year that you were like super criticizing. Me too, as well. I'm not gonna shy away from that.
yeah, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say keep on bashing on them. I think, I might have gotten it wrong last year. I think I didn't give Enzo Maresca enough credit as a coach because he's obviously turned Chelsea around to a certain degree. But also, I think a lot of the teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, Man U, or well, not Man U, I think they're going to take a step forward, but I think Liverpool and Arsenal are taking a step back because I feel like I don't rate Arteta as high, and then also like squad problems.
Hmm.
And then I think Chelsea are going to take a step forward just because their players are like they've been going out getting young players are super talented. And sure, there's like a lot, it's a big squad and anything, but last year proved useful. I still think they still have a striker problem, but I think they make up for it because I think Cole Palmer, Joao Pedro, Pedro Neto, I think they're just really talented players that uh can carry them in the goal department, even if the striker's lacking. And then
Hmm.
I think Moises Caicedo proved that his price tag wasn't super inflated. I still inflated, but I think he's showing really good signs of a midfield player. So yeah, I gotta give them credit and say they're gonna finish second. I think they're gonna be really good, but they're still lacking in the department, similar to Arsenal like a couple years ago, where they're missing that one striker, I think really. And then the goalie, I think even though Robert Sanchez is a liability, I just don't think he's a liability enough. Like I said, he's like Arsenal a couple years ago. I think he's similar to Aaron Ramsey when they got there.
Yeah, it's it's interesting, dude. Interesting. But I can see how you could do it. Again, Chelsea, no one expected them to be super competitive last season, and somehow they were.
Hmm.
So I don't blame you. I think for me. Chelsea is still like a mixed bag. I kind of said my piece about them, but yeah.
And then we
And
both have the same number one, I guess.
yeah, Man City.
Yeah, I think Man City comes back and takes it.
Yeah, they're gonna come back and take it. They completely bolstered the squad and just made a complete difference. Yes, they're in a situation where they bought a bunch of players, pretty much a new squad, but I think it was beneficial and it was like kind of a plug and play situation. And especially if they do end up getting the Rodrigo transfer, that's gonna be insane. They just kind of upgraded at every single position.
Yeah, I just think we've said Brian Cherki numerous times for the past year that he's just super talented. I think he's one of the most talented players in the world. And I think if Guardiola can unlock him, I think he just brings him a whole new level. I think he's going to be what people thought Foden was going to be, and even better. Reijnders is an amazing talent. Uh, and then also they get Rodri back, which will help alleviate some of that midfield problems. So I think it's
Yeah,
just them having an one bad year and they're going to go back to their usual dominance this year.
we'll see, bro. Hopefully. But yeah, it's just too many improvements in the squad that's hard to overlook. Um, and it kind of sucks, Club World Cup. We had a bunch of hype about them. They kind of got knocked out kind of fast, but we're gonna look past that. It's a whole preseason. And Cherki didn't have a great debut this again. It's a preseason. He didn't have a great debut this past week, but again, that's what preseason is for. He's getting off the rust. Let us know what you guys think about our table. Just to say it again, I have in fifth place Manchester United, fourth place Chelsea, third place Arsenal, Liverpool second, and Man City as winner. Jesse had.
I have Manu in fifth. I have Arsenal fourth, Liverpool third, Chelsea second, and Man City as Premier League champions.
Oh, dude, we guessed Man City last year, and that was one of the worst years. But again, you could. It's only nothing but up, right? Nothing but up.
One can hope.
And lastly, we're gonna go over La Liga. I think it's a tougher situation. I'm guessing three,
Fourth, fourth and
well,
fifth.
fourth and fifth. But in fifth place, Jesse, who do you have?
I have Bilbao.
I have Bilbao as well.
Yeah, it's like we said, it's tough for them to really improve in the transfer market because they can only target best players, but they were able to retain Nico Williams, so I think they're still going to remain somewhat competitive.
Yeah, same thing. Like you're just relying on your academy. You can't really do much. And again, Nico Williams has been doing some preseason games. It hasn't been the best preseason games, but a lot of the reliance is on him, and teams are going to take note of that and just double cover him, to triple cover him at that point.
Who did you have as your fourth, Jerry?
I am very, very conflicted on who to put my fourth, but I think I have a good one, and I have to go with Celta Vigo. 2 seasons ago, this team was on the brink of relegation. Last season, they made a huge jump with new ownership, and they got seventh place and managed to qualify to Europa League. And this transfer window, I think they did a lot of great things. They brought in Barca's kryptonite, which was Brian Zaragoza. They brought Ferran Jutgla, Club Brugge, a huge Champions League player this past weekend. They got Elax Moriba as well. They got him off of Leipzig on a deal as well. So they have a lot of things to look forward to. I think the Elax one is a couple. It was in January. They made it. No, it was June. So they made it official. He was on loan. So they just did a lot of great transfers to just plug and play. Again, they're gonna line up with that Barcelona kryptonite of Zaragoza. What's his name? What's his name? Iago Aspas and what's the DJ's name? I forgot his name. Oh my God. They call him the raccoon because he has like very like dark eyes. Uh
Uh,
he played in Villarreal, but whatever. I forgot what they call him. But yeah, they have a Barcelona kryptonite team. Who do you have in fourth?
I have Villarreal.
You have Villarreal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Last year they finished tied with Atletico Bilbao on points with 70 points. So they had a good campaign. They were surging. They could have, potentially overtake them, except for goal difference against Bilbao. So they could have finished fourth last year, really.
Hmm.
And I think, this year they do it because I think Bilbao take a slight setback because, they haven't really done anything. And then I think Bilbao have a chance to, not Bilbao, Villarreal has a chance to improve this year. So yeah, I have them as my fourth.
I have question marks just because they got rid of one of the best players, which was uh Alex Baena to Atletico Madrid for 45 million. They also got rid of another attacker, Danjuma, who I thought was pretty good. They sold him to Valencia on a deal, by the way.
Hmm.
So there is question marks. They did reinforce themselves with Buchanan, the Canadian, and Thomas Partey, but we'll see how
We,
long
we
that goes.
we don't talk about that one though.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's tough because he might get prosecuted for very horrible things. So it's interesting that you picked Villarreal. That's why I was kind of avoiding picking him. Now,
Yeah,
who's in
no,
your third?
I have Atletico Madrid.
I have the same thing. Too many players are gonna try to get to know the Simeone system, and it's gonna take them a minute. I think they're gonna again have a hot start, like just ahead like they did last year, and then they're gonna fall off at the end.
Yeah, last year we were praising them for their signings because we thought it was going to make sense. Uh, it didn't. It didn't work out, and I think again this summer, like you said, they brought in a bunch of different players. Sure, they've lost a lot of players went out, and they had to like fix the squad. But I think some of them do work out. I think Bynett is a really good talent, like you mentioned. But I think they're just trying to make do of doing enough so they could keep uh
Julian Alvarez.
Julian Alvarez because he is being linked to Barcelona, to all these other clubs. So I think they're just trying to do enough to be able to keep him. There is an Argentine contingent in that squad, but I don't think that'll be enough to keep him. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it looks like Atletico Madrid have hit the ceiling and they're just trying to figure out how to break through it. And with the players that they signed, I don't think they did enough to break it, especially because I think Barca and Madrid both got better.
Definitely. And again, Atletico Madrid has spent a lot of money this transfer window. I think it's around 180 million, almost 200. I think they're not done with the transfer market. So we're going to see if this gamble pays off. And off topic, we were mentioning how Newcastle is desperate for a striker. They should go for Alexander Sorloth. That's a great replacement for Isak. Again, this guy scores hat tricks. Even though he's had a pretty rough season last season, he still managed to score 20 goals.
Yeah.
But off topic. Who is your number two, Jesse? I could only wonder.
I wonder what yours is too, Jerry. I went with Barcelona.
I went with Real Madrid,
Yeah, I think we both know my first is Real Madrid to win it, and I think we know yours as well with Barca.
Barcelona. We have the best player in the world in Lamine Yamal, and we just did nothing but improve the squad with Hansi Flick players. Rashford is going to make a difference. We didn't really have to go too much in the market to get reinforcements. So I think we're just going to dominate again.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid have done well in the transfer market. Well, I think Dean Housen is one of, if not the best young center back in the world. And I think this year he's going to be competing to show that he can be the best center back in the world. Alvaro Carreras is a great left back. We've needed a left back for years, and he's come in and he showed last year that he had a great game against Lamine Yamal at Benfica. Uh, Franco
Great game.
Macedo,
They scored five.
that you're telling me one player can stop all of that? It's not
They
just him.
scored five. What do you mean a great game?
Hey, some of those goals were questionable. Let's not talk about that. And then Franco Macedonia was one of the talents that everyone's been hyped about. He's a great signing. And then, yeah, let's.
I'm concerned about Carreras for joining so late because he's not getting the full preseason. He's not getting the full workouts.
No, he came in. He came in before that. He's getting the full preseason.
So we're gonna see how that turns out for him. Masantono, I like the player. I don't know how much game time he's gonna get.
A lot.
We'll see. There's still mouths to feed. Like Endrick, he just recently got number nine at Real Madrid, so he's gonna have a lot to say if he doesn't get subbed in. It's gonna be again. It's also Florentino's guy, so there's gonna be pressure to play him instead of Masantono. And there's still the question of Ibrahim Diaz. He's still there. So again, a lot of mouths to feed, a lot of egos. Vinicius Jr. is still there, so I think that's gonna be again another downfall. He's not gonna defend Jesse. Is Mbappe gonna defend as well?
But
There's a
you're,
lot of question marks in my
yeah,
opinion.
but you're forgetting Xabi Alonso. He's a great player at developing young talents, and I think this squad is filled with them, especially with the players I mentioned, and not to mention the one that's already there with like Arda Güler. I think he unlocks Güler this year, and we finally see consistent glimpses of what we've been seeing for the past couple of years of brilliance. I think he fully unlocks that and he brings it to a whole new level. And I think he might uncover some young gems in the academy.
I'm not disagreeing with you that he knows how to develop talent because he does. He made Frimpong, Words, Grimaldo. He's not as young, but like he did help have him have a great season. Same thing with Jonathan Tah. My question is handling the egos. How is he gonna manage the Mbappes, the Bellinghams, the Endrick? Like he has an ego, the Vinicius Juniors. It's gonna be a huge thing to take care of, you know? He's gonna have to mark his territory instantly and try to
Well,
stop all the ego thing, but we'll
I
see.
think that's what's required of every top coach because that's what every top team has, egos. You go to Man City, most of those players have egos. You go to Barca, those players have egos. Every team has egos because those type of players, they have confidence in themselves, rightfully so, because they are some of the best in the world, but they come with egos and you got to learn how to manage those. And that's what's required of a top manager. And I think that's also a test for him that he needs to answer.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be a definitely test and it might be a long season. Again, my hottest of hot takes is that Xabi Alonso gets fired by December.
It's crazy.
I'm that's again, it's a super hot take. That's what I'm going with. We'll see what happens. If it happens, I'm a genius, Jesse. If it doesn't, hey, it was a hot take, you know? I'm throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks, you know?
You know, like I'm throwing shit in the wall. Like Pedri comes to Real Madrid and
Hey,
becomes the latest trader. He becomes the latest Luis Figo.
that'd be insane, you know? I
It
think
would
if
be.
anything that would happen, it'd probably be Lamine Yamal because there is like history of him being a Real Madrid fan. I sent you his like best 11 and he picked a lot of Real Madrid players
Yeah, it
as
was
well.
6-5. It was majority Real Madrid.
But hey, but hopefully it doesn't happen, you know? Knock on wood.
Hopefully it does, you
Have an anti-Madrid clause like they do to us, and anti-Barca.
know. Hey, listen, it's rivalry. That's what you got to do.
For sure. And last but not least, this is the last thing, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention this Thiago Pitar. I don't know if I said it correctly. He is a recent youth team player that has been promoted by Xabi Alonso to play with the first team. He is 18 years old. He's Spanish Moroccan, so he still can decide between the two. He's been recently gotten some game time with the first team. He's impressed a lot. He even played in the preseason game behind closed doors against Leganes. He came on and he scored a goal. He's very impressive that a lot of the first team players and Xabi Alonso are impressed with him. And I think he's been called up again for this upcoming friendly that we're having behind closed doors against I can't remember who. I think it's in Austria. So yeah, he's become very important for the team, it looks like, or he's becoming an option for them. And it's a good sign for La Fabrica that he's coming up and he's showing that there's quality there. And yeah, he's made Dani Ceballos expendable, and they're saying that they might willingly sell him to Betis for 15 mil because Isco broke his leg. But yeah, Bitach has come in and shown that there's quality there, and he's needed because midfield I have called into question that a player has been needed, and it looks like Xabi Alonso found him in the youth team.
Let's see if that happens. Hopefully, it's always great to see competition and young players coming through. But, hopefully it doesn't succeed at Real Madrid, in my opinion. But no, you could like impressing players from the first team and constantly being called up is it's a huge accomplishment. It's nothing to look past. Now we have the grid. Jesse, we couldn't get last time. One of them was my fault. But this time I think it's doable. So top columns we have AC Milan, French, Ligue 1. The rows we have Villarreal, Barcelona, and Man City. Jesse, I'll let you start off with your boy
Man,
right here.
Man City, AC Milan, Balotelli.
Oh, I I thought you would have picked Robinho.
No. Balotelli.
Don't pick Reinders, by the way. We got it for some reason wrong last time.
Zlatan?
Uh, so there's Zlatan. There's Ronaldinho as well.
Yeah, whichever. It's fine.
Was Maxwell? I'm telling you, I'm saying Maxwell for everything because yeah, he's played in Barcelona. I think he's played in AC Milan. Well, no, not Alexander Pato didn't play for Barcelona. No,
No, he did not.
we'll go with Zlatan. Now Villarreal, AC
AC
Milan.
Milan.
There's Chuku Wase, Samuel. There we go. You know this one? Villarreal French. Coquelin,
Yeah,
ex-Arsenal player. Or is it
Francisco.
Francis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof, we could have already used them for Liga.
Oh, uh,
We'll come back to that one. Barcelona French.
take your
Take,
pick.
I know. There's Henry.
Lucas Digne.
Yes, that's a great one. Swear to God, this better be low percentage. 4% is not bad. French Man City.
French.
Don't pick Fekir. Not Fekir,
Cherki.
Cherki. Did Laporte play for Man City?
Laporte. Yeah,
Did he?
yeah. Remember?
Oh yeah, he did. He did.
I was thinking Mendy.
Oh. How is that
Oh,
not a thing?
oh, because he switched to Spain, remember?
At the time he was playing for Man City, he was French, all right?
That's a robber right there, because
Yeah, that's a dual nationality.
Gail Clichy.
I can't even spell his name. Wow, 16%. But that's a robbery right there, by the way. That's a robbery. Barcelona League, probably the most famous one. Neymar da Silva dos Santos Jr. 10%? That's insane. Man City League, or Villarreal League, I couldn't tell you. Man City's probably easier, right? Do you
I'm
know
trying to think.
the recent center back they just got?
Yeah, I don't know how to say his name.
Kuzunov.
Kuznetsov. Which one is it?
Uh, don't know.
It ends with Nav, so those are Zav. Oh, is it Kuznetsov?
No, that's not him.
Kuznetsov.
Not wor- Uh, he played for Lens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just
Yeah,
trying to
the
spell his name. We know he
Ku
plays him.
Kuznetsov.
We got it right. We know it. But yeah, we got robbed again. I'm telling you, that's we can we have gotten Villarreal League on?
Um, Nicolas Pepe.
Yeah, there you go. We would have got it. But they robbed us. They told us Aymeric Laporte is was in French, even though he played
Anelka.
French. Oh, now they have Cherki.
Oh,
Chavarri,
now they have that's racism right there, dude. Now they
Benjamin
have him.
Nasri, Sagna, Patrick Vieira.
That's crazy. They don't count
That's
Laporte
literally
on.
horrible, dude. Yeah. Laporte should be in there. He played dual nationality and he did play for the French national team. All right. What was our score? The average score is 6.8, which is pretty surprising
Oh, I wonder if Abidal was lower for
for French
French
Barcelona.
Barca.
Maybe. We got Dignes, so it's 4%. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make
Yep.
sure to like and subscribe. Get clickbaited again. Sorry to that one. Mbappe fan. I compared it to he did to him, and he just lost it.
Yeah,
Wow,
hey, luckily for you guys, it's a longer episode. I know some of you were sad that it was kind of getting shorter, but here you go, back to longer episodes.
for sure. All right, guys, peace.
Peace.